Hello guys and welcome back to TechWolf, and today we are going to do CompTIA Tech Plus practice test, or this could be also a practice exam, as here are 70 questions and I will start from question 36 as we left off in previous video in 35. If you are interested to watch more videos on CompTIA Tech Plus or A Plus or Network Plus or Security Plus exams, these practice tests or practice exams, go to the channel's homepage where you will find much more videos. So as if you are interested to take them for yourself, use Skilltestpro, as I have passed my own CompTIA certifications using exactly Skilltestpro, and that's why I'm also making these videos. And by the way guys, many of you are saying that whether I'm allowed or not to make these videos from Skilltestpro. So yes guys, I am allowed, as Skilltestpro allows anyone who wants to make videos if we add a link to their website. So that's pretty much the main rule, and that's why many other YouTubers I have noticed are making making these tests from Skilltestpro. So that's nothing illegal. So let's get into the first question, and like I mentioned, let's start from question 36. This is where we left off in previous video. So a developer needs to track changes to a project's code base across multiple team members. Which tool should they use? Compiler, debugger, version control system, text editor, or integrated development environment. So here is the correct answer is version control system. As version control system, e.g. Git, if you don't know, there's a Git where you can store code. It tracks code changes and coordinates team contributions. If that would be the first answer, so compilers translate code, debuggers fix errors, text editors write code. So if you are a developer, you would use a text editor, for example, to create the code or to write the code, and IDEs combine tools, non-specifically tracking changes. So the correct answer is version control system. And a database administrator is designing a table and wants to ensure data is not redundant. Which process should they apply? Data encryption, data validation, data indexing, data normalization, or data backup. So which would be the correct answer here? And the correct answer here is data normalization, as data normalization organizes tables to eliminate redundancy and ensure data integrity. As encryption secures data, validation checks accuracy, indexing improves query speed, and backups protect data, non-addressing redundancy. So only correct answer here is data normalization, as data normalization, like I mentioned earlier, organizes tables to eliminate redundancy and ensure data integrity. So next question is question 38. A company needs a software to integrate financial, HR or human resource, and inventory management. Which software type should they choose? And by the way, many questions are pretty much from life. If you have been in tech industry, or if you have been in tech, as for example here, you would know this straight away. But in general, CompTIA Tech Plus exam is to check your basic knowledge on technology, and there is a lot to know. And in some ways, if you haven't been, or you don't if you didn't have any connection to tech previously, this could be quite a lot to learn. And that's exactly why I'm telling you guys, if you don't know, if you want to learn, the best way would be to take these practice tests, like for example from Skilltestpro or any other resources, or watch videos. But the best way is to do these practice tests before the real exam for yourself, because that's exactly how you learn and how your brain or head will get used to different these types of questions. As in this example, for example, previously we used about versions, about Git versions, and here we are straight away in company needs software to integrate financial, HR and inventory management. What type of software that would be? Like which software type should they choose? CRM software, SCM software, ERP software, CAD software, or GIS software? Which would be the correct answer here? And here the correct answer is ERP software, as ERP or Enterprise Resource Planning software integrates financial, HR, and inventory management for streamlined operations. CRM manages customers. So if we are talking about CRM software, that is software which is dedicated for managing customers. SCM software, which is second one, handles supply chains. CAD software is for designing. For example, if you are designing a project, or not a project, but if you are building a house, you would use probably the CAD software to build all projects for that house, and so on and so forth. And GIS analyzes geographic data. That is whole other industry in IT. Like if you are planning to get into IT, GIS is everything about mapping, about maps, about geographic data of country or city, and so on and so forth. If you don't know that, go and research this for yourself. If you are interested more in mapping, that is pretty much IT or information technology, only about maps and geographic and about locations. None of these other options is integrating all specific functions. So next question. So an employee needs a device to back up sensitive project files offsite. What is the best portable storage option? Floppy disk, external HDD, optical disk, magnetic tape, or internal SSD? And the correct answer for the best option would be external HDD, as an external HDD offers high capacity, portable storage for offsite backups. Floppy disks are obsolete, optical disks have limited capacity, magnetic tape is for archiving, and internal SSDs are not portable, making them less suitable. And if there would be another option, you probably guessed it, USBs, and that would be even more, that would be also one of the best options. As you know, there are USBs which can store a huge amounts of data. Next question. A user reports that their external speakers produce no sound. What should the technician check first? So, external speakers not producing sound. So there is no sound. Monitor brightness. So what the technician should check first is monitor brightness, which is 100% wrong already, you can tell, because this is nothing to do with brightness or to monitor. Network cable, sound card drivers, storage drive health, or BIOS settings. So which would be the correct answer here? And here the most logical and correct answer is sound card drivers, as you should probably update your drivers or reinstall them, or if there is some update and so on and so forth, then that would be the fix for this issue, as missing or outdated sound card drivers can prevent external speaker from working. Monitor brightness affects display, network cables impact connectivity, storage health affects data, and BIOS settings controls hardware initialization, non-related to audio output. A network technician needs to configure a device to assign IP addresses dynamically to new devices. Which device should they set up? Switch, access point, firewall, DHCP server, or modem? And this question clearly asks you the knowledge for your Tech Plus exam on different devices. So you should know different hardware devices which are related to networking, and these are pretty much all networking devices. And you should not know how they work or how to configure them, but you should know what they can do or what's the purpose of these devices. And that is also what you need to prepare before you are entering your real CompTIA Tech Plus exam. And here the correct answer is DHCP server, as DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, server assigns IP addresses dynamically to devices. And if you would be going like next step, like Network Plus, you would already learn how to configure these dynamic host configuration protocols or these devices and DHCP servers, so you can assign or decide with ranges of IP addresses, do subnetting and much more by using DHCP to build networks. So that is just information if you are planning to get into the networking and you don't know what this device is for. So pretty much this DHCP server is for is the main purpose of it is to assign a new IP is to assign IP addresses to new devices which join the network. For example, if you come into some network covered area which belongs to particular company, then this DHCP server detects your device. Communication starts with the device, with mobile device for example, or with laptop for example. However, laptop is also considered to be a mobile device. What I meant first is by mobile device is mobile phone. Then this DHCP server from its IP address pool assigns IP address to that particular device, so that device can connect the local area network and start sharing data in that particular network. That's why DHCP server assigns IP addresses. So next, a company needs to deploy software across multiple workstations without manual intervention. Which installation method should they use? Custom installation, network installation, manual installation, upgrade installation, or silent installation. And here the correct answer is silent installation, as silent installation automates software deployment without user interaction, and it is ideal for multiple workstations. Custom and manual installations require input. Network installations are used to shared resources, and upgrade installations update existing software, non as efficient as for mass deployment. A computer produces a single beep on startup but fails to display anything. What is the most likely issue? Failed RAM module, loose monitor cable, overheating power supply, corrupted storage drive, outdated graphics drivers. What would be the correct answer? And here, in this particular scenario, the most logical answer would be loose monitor cable, as a single beep typically indicates a successful post, but no display suggests a loose or faulty monitor cable. Failed RAM causes multiple beeps, and by the way, when you have RAM problem, for example, RAM is improperly seated on motherboard, that would be in most scenarios 2 or 3 beeps, or crashes. Overheating power supply causes shutdowns, corrupted, and by the way, when you are starting a computer, your computer wouldn't be overheated straight away, so that is illogical answer by itself. So overheating power supply straight away, it wouldn't even be possible. And corrupted drives prevent booting, and outdated drivers affect software, not initial display. Next question, a network administrator notices that file transfer between departments are slow. So file transfers between departments are slow. What should they configure to optimize bandwidth allocation? VLAN, load balancer, bandwidth shaper, firewall rules, access point channels. So which would be the correct answer here? And the correct answer is bandwidth shaper. If you answered this correctly, then you are absolutely right, as a bandwidth shaper controls and allocates network bandwidth to prioritize critical tasks like file transfers. VLANs or virtual local area networks segment networks, load balancers distribute server traffic, firewalls filter data, and access point channels manage wireless connections, non-directly optimizing bandwidths. So next question, a technician is troubleshooting a computer that boots slowly and shows multiple error messages. What should they check first to identify outdated hardware compatibility? BIOS version, network adapter settings, software drive capacity, monitor resolution, or keyboard drivers. And here the correct answer is BIOS version, as an outdated BIOS can cause slow booting and compatibility errors with modern hardware or software. Network settings affect connectivity, storage capacity impacts space, monitor resolution affects display, and keyboard drivers impact input, none of which directly cause boot errors, and this is in relation to other answers. And next question, an IT team needs to ensure critical systems remain operational during a power outage. So if your power goes down, something happens with power supply gets lost, we need the critical systems remain operational. What should they implement? So what should the technician of company implement if the power goes down? Backup schedule, business continuity plan, network segmentation, data encryption, or intrusion detection. Which would be the correct answer here? And the correct answer is business continuity plan, as a business continuity plan ensures critical systems remain operational during disruptions like power outages. Backup schedules protect data, segmentation isolates networks, encryption secures data, and intrusion detection monitors threats, ensuring operational continuity. A developer creates a class that inherits methods from a parent class, and this is already about programming, and in this particular scenario this is about object-oriented programming. Which programming concept is this? Encapsulation. So if the class is being inherited from a parent class, so this is very basics. If you haven't learned programming, then for you this might be like a little bit head-breaking, but in general these are very basics. This question is very basic of object-oriented programming, or OOP. So what is this method? If inherits methods from a parent class, so a class, so one class inherits methods. Methods is pretty much functions from a parent class. Which programming concept is this? So here we also need to know programming concepts for CompTIA Tech Plus practice. Sorry guys, for CompTIA Tech Plus exam. And like I said, this is a lot to learn for CompTIA Tech Plus exam if you have no idea about tech, because they are testing you pretty much on every different aspect of IT. So this is encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, or modularity. And the correct answer here is that this is inheritance, and this is one of the most popular, where you are inheriting methods from one object and you are using them pretty much. So inheritance allows a class to inherit methods and properties from a parent class. Encapsulation protects data, so encapsulation, this is this one, it protects data. Polymorphism enables multiple forms. Abstraction hides details, and modularity organizes code, non-involving class inheritance. So next question. A computer fails to power on and no lights are visible. What should the technician check first? RAM modules. So if our computer powers on, a computer fails to power on, so we are trying to switch on our computer but it is not switching on. and no lights are visible, and pretty much nothing happens whenever we are trying to switch on our computer. So what should the technician check first? What if we are, as a technician, we should check first? RAM modules, monitor cable, network adapter, motherboard connections, or graphics card. So very first, and here you simply have to think logically. What would be your first action if you are trying to switch on your PC or computer but it is not switching on? And most likely we would check motherboard connections, as monitor cable has nothing to do with it because it is connected to the computer itself, and we would see straight away computers that nothing is happening. So probably that would be motherboard connections, as failure to power on with no lights suggests loose or faulty motherboard connections or a dead PSU, power supply unit. So power supply unit should probably might be dead. So, and RAM causes crashes, monitor cables affect display, network adapters impact connectivity, and graphics cards affect video, not power issues. So these all others are mostly not power issues, power related issues. A warehouse manager needs software to track stock levels and shipments. So now we are talking about software. In every of these questions, even in real exams, so these are very real like exam questions on this Skilltestpro website. That's why I always create these videos from this website. So here, whenever you are reading these questions, first thing you need to understand straight away what they are talking about. And in this scenario, when you read the first line, a warehouse manager needs software. So here we straight away see that keyword here is software to track stock levels and shipments. So we need to know software which tracks stock levels and shipments. Which software type should they use? CRM, CAD, ERP software, GIS software, or SCM software. So which one would be the correct answer here? And the correct one is SCM, or Supply Chain Management Software, and that is software that tracks stock levels and shipments. CRM, like I mentioned, you will also for CompTIA Tech Plus, you need to know these software types, what their purpose are, and here you can also, what I like about Skilltestpro is that you can also straight away see in some of these questions straight away explanations of all other things, and if you want to deep dive, you can easily pick up Google search or go and deep on the search in more depth of these other softwares. But in general, here you can see that CRM, which is first question, CRM manages customers. So CRM software in company is for customer management, CAD designs objects, ERP integrates processes, and GIS analyzes geographic data, non-suited for inventory tracking. And I was also explaining this in one of previous questions, similar questions to this one. A web server is placed in a network zone to protect the internal network. So a web server is placed in a network zone to protect the internal network. What is this zone called? So web server. So this is server which is doing with our web applications like HTML. Okay, now I got it. A web server is placed in a network zone to protect the internal network. What is this zone called? And this is about, here you need to know for CompTIA Tech Plus, this is like basic networking structures on different zones also. So this zone is VLAN, DMZ, subnet, LAN, or WAN, or WAN. And the correct answer here is that this is DMZ zone, or demilitarized zone. And demilitarized zone, if you don't know what it is, check it out on different graphs. how it looks on our networking, it pretty much isolates public-facing servers like web servers from the internal network for security. So this is for security purposes, so attackers can't attack your local area network or company's local area network, but at the same time allowing web traffic to flow in and out, because you know for yourself, if company have a website, that website is accessible from the World Wide Web or from the internet. And VLAN segment networks. Subnets divide networks. LANs or local area networks cover local areas, and WANs or wide area networks span large regions. Also, you need to know network types or topologies, you could say. Also, check them out before this exam, or make sure that you are aware for Tech Plus exam. And next question, a user reports no video output despite the computer powering on. What component should the technician check first? Network adapter, sound card, video card, storage controller, or memory module? And here the correct answer would be video card, as the video card or GPU, which also stands for Graphics Processing Unit, handles video output, and failure can cause no display. Network adapters affect connectivity, sound card handles audio, storage controllers manage drivers, and memory modules cause crashes. Not display issue, which is not display issue. A company requires employees to use fingerprint to access their workstation. So you should use a fingerprint to access workstation, your computer. In IT, workstation is your computer pretty much. What security measure is this? So what security measure is this called? This is pretty much straightforward answer question. Password policy, network segmentation, data encryption, biometric authentication, intrusion detection. So if you use your fingerprint, or for example your eye, for accessing something, whether it's an entrance to the building, whether it's a computer, that is biometric authentication, because this is something you are. You are using something you are. Something you have, that would be password. Then there is something you know. Actually, something you have, that would be a card. Something you know, that would be the password, and so on and so forth. There are these different types of authentication. And fingerprints, or something you are, or your eye, for example, that is biometric authentication. As biometric authentication uses fingerprint for secure access, password policies, manage credentials, segmentation isolates networks, encryption secures data, and intrusion detection monitors threats non-involving biometrics. A data analyst needs to organize historical sales data for reporting in a star structure. Which database concept should they use? Relational model, hierarchical model, network model, data warehouse schema, or flat file model. And here we are talking about analyst needs to organize historical sales, so sales which happened previously, all these sales data for reporting in a star structure. Keyword star structure. Which database concept should they use? So here you also need to know about different database concepts for this exam. Like I said, another subject to get to know for CompTIA Tech Plus exam, and which would be the correct answer here. And the correct answer is that analyst would use data warehouse schema. And a data warehouse schema, like star structure, organizes data for analytical reporting. Relational models use tables, hierarchical models use trees, network models allow complex links, and flat file models are simple, non-optimized for analytics. More. And next question, a development team adopts a methodology allowing frequent updates based on a user feedback. Which methodology are they using? Agile, Waterfall, Spiral, V-Model, or RAT? And here the correct answer is Agile, as Agile methodology supports frequent updates and flexibility based on a user feedback. And Waterfall is linear, Spiral focuses on risk, V-Model emphasizes verification, and RAD prioritizes rapid prototyping. None of these prioritizing iterative feedback. Next one. A user connects a legacy keyboard, but it does not work. Which port is likely used? USB-C, HDMI, Thunderbolt, PS//2, or DisplayPort. And here you simply need to know legacy keyboard ports. This is what this question is testing. In our latest keyboards we use USB ports, as you know, to connect our keyboards, but previously we used PS//2, and legacy keyboards often use PS//2 ports, which may require driver or compatibility fixes. USB-C, HDMI, Thunderbolt, and DisplayPort are modern ports unsuitable for legacy keyboards. And yes guys, this is pretty much it for this video. I will be creating many more videos. Like I mentioned, there are already many more videos. If you are interested, go to the channel's homepage, check them out for yourself. And if you are interested to do these practice tests for yourself, go to Skilltestpro. Like I mentioned before the real exam, this is the only way how you can prepare you can prepare yourself or your brain for real exam, is by using practice tests, where all these CompTIA Tech Plus exams or exam objective questions are in one heap, not like separated only on particular exam objective, but where they are mixed up and where you are doing them in very short time. Like for example, you take your schedule, as you see in this particular test, there are 70 questions, take 70 minutes, because that's pretty much what you will get in real exam, and try to answer them in 70 minutes and see how much you can answer in 70 minutes, for example, and whether you are able to, or straight away, whether you are prepared for the real exam. And yes, this is what I wanted to cover in this video, and see you in the next one.